Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another full review video. We are finally taking a look again at the Springfield 1911 A1 Range Officer in 9mm. So the last time that you guys saw this 1911 on the channel was quite some time ago. It was one of my older videos, the audio's not as good, and my video skills are just simply not as good. So I hope this video does this pistol quite a bit more justice because it is pretty awesome. We just recently hit 1,000 rounds through this gun, and you guys know right around the 1,000 round limit, I start giving it my full review, and then in the future, we do a long-term review once we start getting into the 2,000 to 3,000 round area. I have since had a lot of range days with this pistol to get to that 1,000 rounds, and overall, the reliability has been awesome. There is one brand of ammunition that this gun seems to not like at all, but it's really not that big of a deal. It just seemed to not like the Winchester USA Forged Steel case ammunition. Honestly, guys, a lot of my other firearms do not like that Winchester steel either. And no, it's not just a steel thing with this gun, believe it or not. It actually ran Wolf steel case ammunition 100%, no issues whatsoever. And I think the reason is because of how dry that Winchester ammunition is. I think we had anywhere from 10 or 11 fares to feed in one range day. With all other types of ammunition, that is brass and Wolf steel case ammunition, the gun functioned 100% reliably, and that's exactly why I'm not hitting it too hard about reliability, because out of that 1,000 rounds, all the other ammo functioned great. As far as for the sights, you guys will remember in the first impressions video, I did have to adjust them slightly out of box, but after I adjusted them that one time, I have not had to adjust them again. I've gotten pretty used to the all blacked out target sights, and I really haven't found a need to actually switch them out. I would prefer, however, when we are talking about the sights, that Springfield made this area in the back just ever so slightly more rounded. This isn't really a huge deal, but on 1911s, obviously it tends to be a little bit tougher to actually get to this slide catch and actually use it as a slide release during a reload. So what you will end up doing a lot of the time is coming over the top and slingshotting the pistol. Now, the first couple times that you do this, you may actually get a little bit of a bite on your hand because these rear sights are very sharp on the corners. Now, I noticed this a little bit more on a very cold range day when my hands were already feeling the cold and then they got nailed by the rear sight. Now, this isn't a huge deal. After I started getting used to that, I started realizing where to grab the gun where it wouldn't really kind of run into my hand, and I didn't have any further issues. But I think if Springfield just chose to round off the edges a little bit, it would be a lot more pleasant to slingshot into action. Getting into how the gun feels after it's had 1,000 rounds through it, I can definitely feel that I am past that break-in period. All of the components are significantly smoother than when I started. It's not a complete night and day difference, but it is definitely better than the very first range day. And the trigger still feels excellent. You have a really nice take up here that is basically no weight at all. We are talking about a 1911 trigger here, and then we get to a very crisp wall and then our break. On the reset, comes right back out to that wall again, and your break. Obviously, as far as 1911s go, this is nothing like a Nighthawk, but it is still a very good trigger for an out-of-box, really stock 1911 with just some minor upgrades and still getting to a price point of well below $1,000. This Parkerized finish has actually held up much better than I thought it would. Now, Parkerizing is still a very strong finish, but I've found over my time with testing multiple firearms that Parkerized finishes do get scratched a little bit more easily than other finishes out there by just chucking them around on the range table and different things like that. There are really no scratches at all on this gun. In fact, it still looks pretty much mint, and I have not been babying this gun at all at the range. The Coca-Cola wood grips are still looking excellent. It gives it that really nice old school looking feel. They could add just a little bit of aggression up here in the front strap. That's really what I prefer on 1911s, but I fully understand that that would increase the price point, which kind of defeats the purpose on what this gun is designed for. After this 1,000 rounds, I really have been noticing where I am lacking in the skills of just not shooting 1911s a ton. You guys know I shoot a lot of striker-fired pistols, and that definitely was apparent when I started shooting this 1911. But I will say there's something that makes this 1911 a little bit different from your standard 1911 out there. There's just something about a 9mm 1911 that's not bad. It doesn't recoil bad. The recoil impulse isn't wrong or anything like that. It just feels weird. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But it almost feels like the gun is malfunctioning or that the slide has locked to the rear. There were multiple times where I could have sworn that the slide locked to the rear and I was ready for a reload and I started tilting the gun up to take out the magazine, only to realize, wait a second, Joe, the slide's still ready to go. There's still a round in the chamber and it's good to go. So I would simply press back forward, take the round off. It definitely wasn't a one-time thing. This happened multiple times because the way that the slide recoils, the way that the recoil impulse feels in your hand, it's almost like the slide is moving in slow motion. That was definitely a learning curve for me, and I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed learning something new at the range and shooting something different that wasn't just a striker-fired pistol. So after the 1,000 rounds, I really started learning how to shoot this gun, really how to get my shots lining right on top of one another, and it really just shoots great. The gun is very accurate, and I think for the price point and what you're getting, this is a phenomenal choice for a first 1911, especially if you're looking for a 1911 to take to the range with you or even conceal or something like that, but you already have 9mm and you don't want to switch it up and have to buy 45 ACP. Another really cool thing about the fact that this is 9mm is it features 9-round magazines. So you get a couple more rounds of capacity in the magazine that is the exact same size as a standard 7-round 45 ACP 1911 mag. These are a little bit tough to load, especially with some steel case ammo. Now I know a lot of you guys out there, it's like totally blasphemous that I shot steel case ammo through a 1911, but I personally feel that I want to test every gun and see what it's capable of doing. I understand some guns might not like steel case ammo. Luckily, this gun actually likes Wolf steel case ammo just fine, just not the American-made stuff. Now, as far as shootability, when you learn how the gun recoils, it's pretty phenomenal. It really almost feels like a 22 while you're shooting it. I mean, there is no recoil at all. So stacking rounds on steel plates, getting everything on target really, really fast is no issue at all. Once you learn the reset on this gun, your follow-up shots are even faster. I know what many of you are probably wondering, and that's if I had to choose, would I rather have a 45 ACP 1911 or a 9mm 1911? Well, honestly, after shooting a lot of options of both calibers, I think I would still have to go with a 45 ACP 1911. There's a lot of really cool plus sides to the 9mm, but there's just something about a 1911 chambered in 45, the way that it recoils, the way that it shoots. I truly love those guns. They feel great in the hand. I obviously still carry a striker-fired 9mm, and I got nothing wrong with 9mm 1911s, but if I did have to just choose one out of the case and I could only choose one, I think a 45 ACP would probably have to be the way to go, and I would probably put the 9mm aside. That's pretty much going to wrap this video up, guys. There's not much to say about this gun. It performed extremely well at the range. Springfield, in my experience, makes a great 1911, and I think they are some of the best bang for your buck 1911s you're going to get out there. If you have any other questions or comments about this pistol or something that I didn't touch on in the review, feel free to throw them down in the comment section below, and you guys know I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, check out that description, and the first link there will show you how you can support what I do here on the Firearm Freedom channel. Check out the Firearm Freedom Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account. On the Instagram account, we do twice-a-week live streams, and we do daily posts on all three of those that you guys are not going to want to miss out on. If you enjoy the content that's coming out here on my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you're always getting updated whenever I post a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.